Hey there, John Moore here, and I am a shamanic teacher from the state of Maine in the northeast of the US. And today I want to talk to you about how to get to know yourself spiritually. This is a question I've been asked a lot. How do I know myself spiritually? How do I get to know myself spiritually? And I will give you some methods. I'll give you some ways to do that, and I'll give you the best ways that I know how to start to do that. So, the number one way, I'm going to give you the number one up front. I'm not going to do a countdown to try to keep you tuned in this video for an extra long period of time. The number one thing I recommend for anybody in the entire world is meditation. And I'm going to give you some information about that because you might be like, well, I already meditate, or hold on, I can't meditate, or, whatever. So, first of all, there are countless forms of meditation, and instead of prescribing one for everyone, I think the best thing you can do is find a method that works best for you. There are, seated watching the breath meditations, there's mindfulness meditation, there's meditation focused on an external object, there's moving meditation, so there's walking mindfulness and Tai Chi and things like that. So there's lots of different forms of meditation. Find one that works for you. The goal of meditation is not to silence the mind. The number one complaint I get from people about meditation is I can't meditate because I can't make my thoughts stop. Congratulations, you're not dead, A. And B, I'm sorry to tell you that you're also not the Buddha at this point. Part of you is, but that conscious part that keeps the thoughts going. Okay? The goal of meditation is not to stop your thoughts. The goal of meditation is to meditate. And the side effect of meditation is that your thoughts eventually will slow down. But if you try meditation once and the 5 minutes that you sit down, it's utter torture because your thoughts are running around in your head and you're fighting with them, then you could use a little bit of instruction and you could use perhaps a different method, but also know that it's okay. Just sitting there and doing nothing for 15, 20 minutes is really, really healthy for you. There's lots and lots of research about meditation. What happens with meditation over time is that the mind will get very quiet. So you can think of the mind like this pond of water, and it's constantly in turmoil and stirring up. And so it stirs up a lot of dirt, and you really can't see what's down beneath there. With meditation, over time, the mind will quiet as long as you're not going, stop, trying to force your thoughts to stop or fighting with them or whatever. So find a way to meditate. Shorter practices that are regular are better than trying to meditate for 2 hours, quitting at 45 minutes, and then deciding it's never going to be for you, where 5 minutes a day over a month is going to provide you with a much better result for your meditation. That's method number one. I know it's really a really simple thing. Hey, just go meditate. But it really is the most powerful spiritual development tool that we know of, and recommended for everyone. And you don't have to drop your religion or even have any form of spirituality to meditate. You can meditate simply for the mental and physical benefits. But if you're watching this video, you're interested in getting to know your spirit. Okay. So, the number two method, and this is something I recommend for everyone, and I've done lots of videos about this. I will do lots more in the future. There's lots of material, there's courses, there's all kinds of stuff out there. And that is do shadow work. What is shadow work? Shadow work is getting to the unconscious parts of you, the parts of you that you have exiled. And if you think you don't have a shadow, that is the shadow. Everybody has a shadow. Everybody has parts of themselves that they don't want to look at, or parts that we are told are shameful, or parts that we've buried for whatever reason. So do shadow work. And this is a really important part of doing your cleanup because the shadow, the reason we need to do that work is that it is running our lives from behind the scenes. And we are not really standing in our sovereignty if we're not consciously choosing our own actions and our own spirituality and that sort of thing. And what can happen is people can do a whole lot of spiritual development without ever doing any shadow work. People, in fact, can gain um, siddhas or powers, right, where they have, they're very charismatic, or they can cause miracles to happen, or do healing, or any of that stuff. But they haven't cleaned up their shadow, so they wind up becoming these gurus or whatever who wind up taking advantage or sexually abusing or you know all kinds of bad stuff can come up when somebody is spiritually powerful but not spiritually clear. So doing shadow work is about becoming more clear. Remember, meditation is about calming and clearing the conscious mind. Shadow work is about working with the unconscious mind. We're still getting to the spirit here, how to know yourself spiritually. And I will give you method number 3. And all of these can and should be done in conjunction with each other. And if you want to know how to do shadow work, again, there's lots of videos out there. I've got a bunch. Other people have a bunch. There's courses. There's all kinds of resources out there. Number 3 is to do a practice that I call disidentification. So, what keeps us from understanding ourselves spiritually is thinking that we are not a spirit that's wearing this body mind like a suit. Okay? We are an undying, unborn, immortal spirit that is, even pointing to my body and saying it's inside of here is not exactly true because it's this your spirit is not in a given location, but it's sometimes easier to identify by pointing here and saying it's in here somewhere. It's inside me because it feels like we're inside this body. So the process of disidentification is pretty straightforward, and I do this as a little meditation. So what I do is I walk through all of the aspects that I think are me, which is my ego, and that's the thing that is preventing me from really getting my hooks into a spirit. When you get to your spirit, when you start to know yourself spiritually, it is a little bit ineffable, unnameable, undescribable, indescribable. I think it's indescribable. We'll say indescribable. It's a little bit indescribable, meaning you can't really put words around what you are because it's, as big as the universe and connected to everything. And all I can say is that when you reach that core of yourself, that you're going to find that you are divinity, that you are a part of divinity. You might call that God or the universe or source or what have you. But how do you get to that? How do you experience that? Well, it starts by peeling away layers of our ego. Not that ego death is important or the ego is evil. It's it's useful in its purpose, which is keeping this body mind alive, and it does that by making us think this is what we are. I am this body, right? When we, and at least in English, when somebody dies, we say, "Oh, I buried my grandfather today." No, you buried the body that your grandfather was using for the period of time, for the 92 years he was on this earth. But you didn't bury your grandfather, right? Your grandfather's not that body. If he was, you would never bury him, right? That body is dead matter after your grandfather has passed, right? The spirit's not using that body anymore. So we peel away the layers of what we think we are, and what we're left with is what we truly are. Okay. And again, like this is perhaps not a permanent state. So don't think you're going to gain enlightenment by doing this for 5 minutes. This requires some repeated practice, but each time you do this, it's going to take you deeper and deeper and deeper into an experience of your spirit. Okay, which is what all we can go for, because again, it's really indescribable. We can use words that hint at it. We can say it's clear, it's present, it's aware, it's everywhere. And that's another, that's something we can do once we get there. So let's talk you through the stripping away exercise, the disidentification. So all you're going to do is you can do some recitations, which means you're going to repeat some phrases, but really try to experience them as you're repeating them. The more you do this exercise, the deeper it gets over time. Don't expect, instantaneous enlightenment. If I could offer you that, I would. Um, So what you want to do is get in touch with the parts that you think you are. We'll start with the grossest part, the body. And all I'm going to say is, I have a body, but I am not this body. Okay? Then I'm going to say, well, I've got thoughts and feelings. Maybe I'm my thoughts and feelings. No, I have thoughts and feelings, but I am not thoughts and feelings. Phoebe the Shaman cat wants in on this video, right? Phoebe, you have a body, you are not the body. I have a body, I am not the body. I have thoughts and emotions, I am not thoughts and emotions. If I was the body, my body, I am 51 years old as I record this. My body has changed significantly over 51 years. So that means that I don't exist. Like every cell in my body is changed out every few years. Every atom in my body changes over time. And as I'm doing this, I'm exchanging atoms with the atmosphere right now. So that's really impermanent. This body is impermanent, and someday this body and mind will die. And I'm aware of that and I accept that. So I have a body that I'm using at the moment, but I am not this body. This is not what I am. And I have thoughts and feelings, but those are really ephemeral. Like a thought goes across my mind in like a fraction of a second. If I am those thoughts, I can never really pin down who I am. So maybe I'm not those thoughts. Maybe I'm aware of those thoughts. Maybe I'm that awareness that's there. Okay. Same thing with emotions, same thing with feelings. I also have sensations. You have sensations. You're seeing this video, right? You're seeing light, you're feeling things, you're having body sensations. Again, those are changeable. Who or what is having those sensations? I have sensations. I see, taste, smell, hear things, feel things, but I am not those sensations. So what am I? So then, as you start to become quiet from doing this stripping away, I can, even just from reciting this to you, I can feel myself becoming more quiet. There's an awareness of quiet there. The parts of me that I've just said aren't me, the parts that aren't me, that I've said aren't me, are like, all right, I'm checking out for a little bit. And that's good. That's good. So what's left for now? I'm going to call it awareness. And let's describe what the qualities of this awareness are. Well, awareness is present in this moment, right? So spiritually, if I'm using awareness as one name for spirituality, for my spirit, I know that my spirit must be present in this moment. What else is there? Well, there may be thoughts flying across. So awareness allows space for thoughts to cross, but it's unchanged by those thoughts, right? The quality of awareness doesn't change. Awareness is like the sky. When the clouds blow through it, or the sky gets dark at night, or the sky lights up in the morning, the sky itself doesn't change, but the components that are traveling through the sky, the light, the clouds, moisture, birds, airplanes, that changes over time. But what is unchanging is the sky. So be like the sky, my friend, and be unchanging. So as you become quiet through meditation, through doing shadow work, through doing this disidentification practice, start to become aware of the quality of what remains. And that will put you in touch with really with what you are spiritually, which is timeless and aware and present and unborn and undying and uninjurable and unchanging. Get in touch with that nature of yourself. I hope this has been helpful. My love to all of you, and I will talk to you very soon.